Hey everyone, I'm Aaron, and this is the Undaunted Pursuit podcast, the place where bold faith meets real talk. Each week we open up God's Word, dive into life's challenges, and sit down with incredible guests who share their pursuit of Jesus. No fear, no holding back. This is Undaunted Pursuit, and the journey starts now. Hey guys, and welcome back to Undaunted Pursuit podcast. Man, it has been a while since we got together. We got Ashley back in the studio with us.
Hey guys.
And we're going to get back into our Ecclesiastes study. But man, has there been anything really that... I guess there has been some major developments. Yeah. What do you want to share it or?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
So we have been invited to come down to Brazil with some missionaries, our family and Aaron and I, and we will be going for a month is what the Lord kind of put on our hearts. So we will be in Brazil for a month, coming soon.
Don't know exactly.
We're hoping March, God willing. If not, it will be October. So pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, so we'll see how things transpire with that. But that being said, we will eventually need your support and your help. And so be watching for that. So I think Ashley and I have been talking about, after this podcast and stuff, we're going to start filming some stuff just because people want to hear our testimony. People want to hear what they're... investing in or whatever.
Investing.
And so we're thinking about doing a couple of different videos for this and I'll put it out on YouTube and stuff. And then in the description, of course, there will be a giving link. So be watching for that, and we'll make a huge announcement as well when that comes time. So, but any support will be greatly appreciated. And we are beyond excited. It's not very often. You don't see too many people, too many families of our size, right? No. 5 kids, 2 adults being called out into a global international mission field. It happens. We're not special by any means, but there's other families that have done it, and
are still doing it.
And it's not, but it's just not common. And so it's very cool. And we've been asked. We've gone through all kinds of different, interviews and Zoom calls and all that, and been asked several times. Well, what's your goal for this? What's your goal for this mission trip? And missions is good, right? Mm-hmm. And you'll see this in the I guess. I was telling Ash, I don't know what to call it, testimonial or promotional video. I don't know what it's going to be, but you'll hear that story as well. But we're excited. We're excited that God has finally revealed a place for us. Oh my goodness.
Things are falling off the wall. What did you do?
I don't know what happened. I have this little pegboard off to the side, and it just won't stay on the wall. Huh. Anyway, it houses my bookmarks. Wow. Well, all right. Either way, that's must be a sign to move on, right?
Right.
So anyway, winter's coming, and we've been prepping for that, and busy with all the nonsense.
Lots of school.
Yep, lots of school. I hope you guys are enjoying the new little mini short form videos that I started.
The truck
this
cab.
week. This past last week. Yeah, truck cab devotional. So if you haven't seen that yet.
Devotionals. I said confessionals. I'm sorry.
Devotional. Yeah, not confessional, but...
sorry, I got the wrong one.
But you can find that on social media and, of course, YouTube on our channel there. So, so that's good. I plan on doing that every week just to kind of give the reasoning behind it, right? And the reason I don't is because we are so busy all the time, and video takes a whole lot longer than audio, in my opinion, to edit. So or to add stuff into it. I'm just not fast with it. And so that's why I don't post a whole lot of video and mostly audio, because I can knock out audio no problem. But I'm going to try and do this because I think it opens up an avenue to get Jesus, just a little bit of Jesus into somebody's life.
Yeah.
You know, those that don't have time to sit and listen to a 45-minute or hour-long podcast of ours, that maybe this will just help them out just that much, you know. So yeah, hope you guys are liking it. Check it out, subscribe, and all that. So, this week, we are getting into and continuing our study in Ecclesiastes, and you're going to find out that Ecclesiastes, like this chapter 5, leads us into a couple of different sections of Scripture. For sure. And it really touches on some, kind of important things. Yep. For sure. So, we're talking about, chapter 5 starts out here with the preacher saying, guard your steps and focus on what you're doing as you go to the house of God. Draw near to listen rather than to offer careless or irreverent sacrifice of fools. All right? So, verse 1, we're talking about guarding your steps, right? Be mindful of your actions.
Yep. Be on your best behavior.
Mm-hmm. Live like there is... Live in expectancy of Jesus each and every day. I think that's kind of the way I take it, right? The way he was, of course, he's offering wisdom here,
right? Well, and it wouldn't be Solomon without wisdom,
right? And so there's just a whole lot more to that. But what does that mean to us today, right? That means to live in a way that that reflects Jesus each and every day. I was talking to Marshall. Surprisingly, I know he hasn't been on, but I was talking to Marshall yesterday, and he said something. Somebody said something to him one day, and I thought it was great because it's something that we all need to think on. It's very convicting. If an unbeliever was to follow you around each and every day, and you not say a word to them, if they just followed around and observed you, would your actions,
your daily routine, reflect God?
Yeah, would they make that unbeliever come to Christ? And so I thought that, I was like, man, that really makes you take a step back and look at your life and how am I living, even behind closed doors, right? Yep. We can act, however we want to act.
I would say especially behind closed doors, because that's when it's the real you, right?
Yep.
Behind those closed doors, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to put on this fake face, right?
Yep. Yep, and too many people do that.
Yeah,
too many people are they're putting on this fake facade, and they tell you everything's okay when in reality it's not. And there's no shame in asking for help, or having somebody else come alongside you and at least offer up prayers.
Yep.
So guard your steps. Focus on what you're doing as you go into the house of God. Draw near and listen. Verse 2. This is very important. Our tongue gets us in so much trouble, right?
No joke.
Do not be hasty with your mouse. With your mouse. Blah.
You got a mouse?
With your mouth. Or impulsive in thought. Therefore, let your words be few. Right? What I have underlined in verse 2 is don't be hasty with your mouth and let your words be few.
Yep.
Right? And we'll get into that here because verse 6 kind of goes along with that. And I know we're kind of jumping around a bit, but verse 6 goes as do not allow your speech to cause you to sin. Right? They kind of, as I read through that, I got to thinking about James. James is... we're talking about guarding your steps. Not only should you guard your steps, but also guard your mouth.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
If you go and look at James chapter 3, pretty much all of it, and all I'm going to do is just really summarize it.
Yeah.
But, verse 3 in chapter 3 of James says we put bits in horses' mouths, right? It's a bridle that goes into a horse's mouth. And with that little thing, you can direct its whole body.
That's exactly right.
Right? If you look at a ship, what directs a ship? A rudder. So small in comparison, right? Our tongue is so small in comparison to the body, but yet it boasts of great things. It's in a sense a fire, is what James says in there. Yep. And this is very strong right here. Verse 6. The tongue is a fire, the very world of injustice and unrighteousness. The tongue is set among our members as that which contaminates the entire body. So,
just like a little bit of leaven.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be incredibly careful of what you say, how you say it, and it's crazy, how much your tongue can get you in. And I think I brought this up, and I think it's going to come up in the next couple of weeks or so in the truck cab devotional, that God gave you one mouth and 2 ears for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That means we're supposed to do twice as much listening as we do speaking. And I know we do a lot of speaking on here, but how much are you listening?
Yeah.
What do you got? Anything to add into that?
No, I was going to go to the same place with James.
What do you think about that? What it says there in verse 8? Oh, you're not. I thought you were there.
No, I had you pull it up. I'm sorry. Let me pull it up real quick. But no one can tame the human tongue. It is a restless evil, full of deadly poison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Out of the same mouth, verse 10 goes into saying we're still in James here. I know we're supposed to be in Ecclesiastes, but
come
James,
both blessings and curses.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. How two-sided are we as human beings to not only, we'll act one way, and yet we will speak curses out of our mouth to others.
Yep.
Right. When in all reality we are called to love everybody and not curse anybody, right? You've seen that in the Old Testament where God can shut your mouth. So if you are speaking too many curses, he can shut your mouth. Mm-hmm. We see that he shut up Zechariah's mouth because of disbelief.
Yeah.
He shut up, he actually turned Balaam, his what he was supposed to be cursing into blessing, right? He made a donkey speak. What more to learn from all these accounts than to watch what you're saying, or God's going to shut it for you.
Yep.
We tell that to our kids all the time, don't we?
Yeah, your mouth is writing a check that your body can't cash. That's what I say every time.
Exactly. So watch your mouth. Guard your words. Guard your speech, because it does matter. You never know what try and be a little bit more mindful as to what kind of. I know we go into this a lot, like, oh man, we're speaking death into this situation, or whatever. We're speaking death into situations, or we're speaking life into situations. Be optimistic, because what should we focus on? We should focus on using our words to have faith, to let our faith shine through both our actions and our speech.
Yeah.
And when we speak in a way that it sounds optimistic, and from a worldly standpoint, what it is.
We'd even say sounds expectant, right?
Right.
Because when you sound expectant, God's going to do it.
Yeah.
There's no gray area. It is straight black and white. If you are expectant with your tongue and you are speaking expectantly, generally it is going to be for the benefit of someone else.
Yeah.
Or for benefit of a situation.
You can speak life and healing. You can speak life into your situation. You can get out of that poverty spirit. If you think that your life is has been ruined and you are at a stalemate in your life, change it. You know what I mean? Because God already knows what you need before you even ask. You just have to take that action. Take that step. So realize that you are already in God's kingdom, that you are already, that God's power through the holy work of the Holy Spirit in your life is you're the conduit of heaven. So anyway, I want to back up. Yep. Because he also talks here in verse 4 that when you make a vow or a pledge to God, do not put off paying it. Mm-hmm. You don't want to make false promises to a God that knows everything. That's right. Yeah.
So right now I'm actively doing Acts with the kids, and that immediately put Acts 5 into my mind with Ananias and Sapphira. Sapphira. I always want to say Satfire, and then I'm like, nope, that's not right. But anyway, so that it immediately put that story into my mind, because like I said, I'm doing a children's every Tuesday. I try and write a lesson up for the kids with a bunch of games, and this story is actually one I'm doing for this coming Tuesday, is this chapter. And it immediately, because I had just went through it, popped immediately into my brain.
Yeah. And what was it?
Oh, sorry. That's Acts chapter 5. And Ananias and Sapphira. See?
Yeah.
Okay. Sapphire is fair enough then. Okay, so anyway, they sold their land. They were joining the church, right? The Acts church, the early church. And they sold their land and all their belongings, but they withheld a portion of the proceeds.
Yeah.
And together decided they were going to only declare X amount, which was not the full amount. Yeah. And when they were approached by Peter and asked, actually the husband was first, and he was approached, he said, yes, that's how much I sold this for. Mm-hmm. And he immediately fell dead.
Yep.
Immediately. And they carried him out and buried him, and then his wife came in. And let's see, where's it at? Then Peter said to her, this is verse 9, how could you two have agreed together to put the Spirit of the Lord to the test? Look, the feet of those who have buried your husband are at the door, and they will carry you out also. So she also lied. So in verse 8, she was, tell me whether you sold the land for this much. Yep, that's how much we did. How could you two together conspire to lie to God on your proceeds that he gave you, right? She also, verse 10, and she at once fell down at his feet and died. And the young men that carried her husband away also carried her away and buried her.
Yeah. I mean, be very careful. Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing, it has nothing to do with the amount of money. God was not concerned about that. What he was concerned about was their hearts, right? They, on the outside, they were going to get praised. Oh my goodness, look at this couple. They gave everything. They sold their land. They gave everything. And so there's their recognition. But
they didn't have the full faith to give it all.
Exactly. And then
testified
again,
and an oath that that is the full amount. You know?
And in the end, died.
Yeah.
Died for it.
Yep.
What this verse right here led me to was Matthew chapter 5, 33 through 37.
Okay.
And it says here, again, you have heard it was said to the men of old, you shall not make false vows, but you shall fulfill your vows to the Lord as a religious duty. But I say to you, do not make an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by earth, for it's the footstool of his feet, or by Jerusalem, for it's the city of the great king. Nor shall you make an oath by your head, for you are not able to make a single hair white or black. But let your statement be yes or no.
Yes.
A firm yes or no. Anything more than that comes from the evil one.
Yeah. Let your yes be a yes and your no be a no.
I know. I just made that statement. It's like the kids keep asking, it's like, no, I said no. Why do I need to give an explanation? I said no. Yeah. Why can't my no be a no? My yes be a yes? I quoted this verse in that. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. Like, if you are living a godly life, and your actions are reflecting that, your speech is reflecting that, then there shouldn't be any reason. That's what that passage means, right? There shouldn't be any reason for you to have to make a vow of anything, right? And this is not talking about the vows we make in court and stuff in our day and age, right? Where you do take this oath of truth in a court of law, right? That's not what this is talking about. God's not looking down on that and being like, oh my goodness, look at you. You know what I mean?
As long as you're telling the truth.
Right, exactly. But live in such a way that when you say yes, that people believe it. that like your yes is a yes. It doesn't have to be an oath on anything, because how can you swear on that? Just like you said,
it's like the perfect example, right? Let your yes be a yes. If you are always asked to help with something and you say yes, but you don't show up or you don't give it all, you're going to have that reputation of they'll say yes, but you don't need their help, because it's going to be more trouble, right? Whereas if you were to come to that same scenario and you let your yes be a yes and you show up and you give every bit of what you have, you will be called on again, because they know they can rely.
Yeah.
And they know that it's truth.
Yeah. And so you can't, verse 36 really sticks out. Nor shall you make an oath by your head, right? For you are not able to make a single hair. What power do you have over?
That's right.
What makes you think that you can swear even by your own body, because your own body isn't even yours? We belong to God. So how can we swear by our own selves even? Because we belong to God. So it's just, that's what it is. Just be mindful of how there's a thing. There is always somebody observing you. There's always somebody watching. There's always somebody critiquing you, right? It's, I think that when we hear that you will face persecution, that it's not only just persecution to you, but it's even persecution in the minds of others, right?
For sure.
That, oh my goodness, this guy says that he's, he proclaims Jesus, and yet I still see him, beating his wife, or, his wife has bruises all over her, or I see her, you name it, right? Any misdeed, any disobedience to the Lord, you name it, and there's the persecution. So, all right. So let's see here. Moving on. I kind of want to jump down to verse 10 in chapter 5.
That's where I was wanting to go. Go for it.
Yeah. So verse 10 we're back in Ecclesiastes, by the way. Verse 10. Is he who loves money will not be satisfied with money, nor he who loves abundance with its gain. This too is vanity. Don't put your love
in material things.
It's pretty plain and simple, right?
You are always going to have another new shiny object that you are lusting after, or that you are wishing you had. It doesn't matter if you obtain that $1 million. That $1 million isn't going to be enough to keep you warm. It's not going to be enough to pull you through.
Yep.
You are going to want more, always. You're not going to be satisfied.
Yeah, exactly. Just look at our world today, right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that have plenty of money, and yet they still have that search for more, right? If I just have this much more, I'll be happy. If I just have this much more, then maybe I can get ahead in this world, or whatever. I'll tell you firsthand, we as a family, and I think we've said this on here before, have made $80,000 a year. We've made $40,000 a year. Either way, we have been happy. I think we've been happier
and joyful
with less.
Yeah.
I think, happy or joyful. Probably more joyful than happy, right? Because those times have
those
been
times
tough.
have been difficult. I mean, not knowing if you were going to be able to pay those bills that go around, those times were difficult, but we had more joy in those times.
Yes, exactly. When good things, verse 11 goes into saying, when good things increase, those who consume them increase, right? So what advantage is there to their owners except to see them with their eyes? I don't really know how that breaks down, but
so the way I take it is, when good things increase, those who consume them increase. When you have lots, people are right there just consuming what you have, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's the way I take it. That's exactly how I take it, right?
Yeah.
You immediately win the lottery, and boy, how do you find family that has come out of somewhere.
Exactly.
To pick and eat at that dinner table, right?
Yeah. Yep, you're right about that. That is exactly what he's talking about here.
So what advantage is there to their owners except to see them with their eyes? To me, that's exactly what that means. When you get all of these things that you are wanting, all of this money that you think will satisfy you, immediately the people who want to consume that increase as well.
Yep. And then what's the cost of all this? What's the cost of pursuing these riches, right? And then and we're not saying, it was Jesus that said the root of all evil. The root of all evil, is the love. The love of money is the root of all evil, right?
There you got
the love of money, right?
Yep.
It's not money in itself. Money in and of itself is a blessing from God. It's good. It's used for good. It can be used for good.
But it's that coveting of that money. It's that lusting of that money.
It's that trust.
Yeah.
It's that soul trust that money is going that money is going to provide for you rather than the one who ultimately provided for you.
That's right.
Yes. And then you get into this issue, right? What's the outcome of this pursuit of riches? And Solomon gets into it here in verse 12. The sleep of a working man is sweet. Oh, yeah, because we are men. God wants us to rest.
Yep.
We have to rest. He established that in our bodies. That's why we deteriorate so fast in health and mentally when we just grind each and every day, and we never take a break.
Yep. Whether he eats little or much, but the full stomach of the rich will not let him sleep. So that is the greed. The greed keeps you up at night. The greed keeps you from having a full rest of sleep, right?
It consumes you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It consumes you. And then what happens? And this is why the love of money is the root of all evil,
exactly.
Right? Because now when it consumes you, now that's all you can think about is because you're putting your trust in these finances, and that's, with you thinking about that constantly, then you turn into, well, what other ways, now what other ways can I deceive somebody to make some more? What other ways can I, even all the way down to stealing? I got to have more. It's almost a drug. Right? Greed is a drug. There's a grievous evil which I have seen under the sun, verse 13. And this is again continuing with this idea of living outside of Jesus, right? And riches being kept and hoarded by their owner to his own misery.
Yep.
Can't take it with you when you go.
Nope.
What parable was that that Jesus told that there was a man said that I'm going to store up all this stuff, and when he did, he finally stored up all this stuff and hoarded all this stuff, and then he's like, okay, I'm good.
Wasn't it the grain silos? Like I'm sorry.
Drop your phone. It was something like that, right?
I think it was like the grain, like I shouldn't say grain silos. That's not the term they used, but like grain houses or
something like that. Stored up all this grain, built another house or storage facility for this grain.
Yeah,
and then takes a deep breath at the end once he's stored up all this stuff, and then dies the next day.
Yep.
Right, and then you took all security in on having all this, and then you're not even guaranteed tomorrow.
Right.
Because that's what he's getting into. That's what the preacher here is getting into. Is there's nothing in his hand as he came naked from his mother's womb, so will he return as he came. That's verse 15.
Yeah.
In Ecclesiastes, right? And he will take away nothing from all of his labor that he can carry in his hand, right? You can't take anything. You hear it all the time that there's not a U-Haul in the funeral procession.
That's right. That's going to bother me. I've got to find that now.
It is in Luke, I thought.
I thought it is in Luke, too.
Let me look at it.
You got the phone. I really thought it was in Luke. There it is. The wealthy fool.
The wealthy fool.
Uh-huh. Man whose land was very fertile and productive. Yep. He began thinking to himself, what shall I do? This is Luke 12, verse 16. So, what should I do? He began thinking to himself, what shall I do since I have no place large enough to store my crops? And then he said, yes, so it was grain silos or whatever it was. But
right.
So then he said, this is what I will do. I will tear down my storehouses and build larger ones, and I will store all my grain and all my goods in there. And then when I say to my soul, soul, you have many good things stored up, enough for many years. Rest and relax, eat and drink and be merry. But God said to him, you fool, this very night your soul is required of you. And now who will own all of the things that you have prepared?
Exactly.
Yep. That's Luke 12:16.
All this stuff that this material stuff that you gather in this life is going to eventually be owned by somebody else.
Right.
You can't take it with you. But what can you take with you? Where can you actually find your rest? Christ Jesus.
That's right.
Right? Christ Jesus is where we find our rest, where we take that deep breath like that wealthy fool after we have spent our life of storing up treasures in heaven, like God's word says, and leaving an inheritance to our next generations is that. It's not money.
Nope.
It's not stuff.
Nope.
The inheritance that you leave...
It's passing on the truth, is what it is.
Passing on God's
truth. Whether it be
truth.
to your family and your children, or whether it be missions work, and you're passing the truth on to another culture, another group. That's storing up treasures in heaven. Yeah. That is investing your talents correctly.
Yeah. Using the strengths that God has given you to love on others, to support others, to encourage others. That is the true treasure in this life that ultimately helps us find rest in Jesus and find joy, right?
For sure.
And gratitude in it throughout the whole process, good or bad, right? There's a lot of studies on by showing gratitude throughout the process on what it does to your brain.
Oh yeah.
And keeping you from there's a lot of like physical things. Like when you have gratitude, it changes,
shifts your perspective.
It shifts you, and it even shifts you all the way down to a physical and mental standpoint. Right?
Yep.
There was something else I was reading here. That's exactly what I was thinking. I already said it. What I was thinking. See, look at this. All of this, verse 17, right? Yeah. All of his life, he also eats in darkness, cheerlessly, and the Amplified puts it, cheerlessly without sweetness and light, right? With great frustration, sickness, and anger, right? This pursuit, this unresting, like I said, I think, I said earlier in this podcast that this relentless pursuit of wealth and self-satisfaction will eventually lead to a deterioration physically in your body. It'll make you sick. Why do you think that? You've noticed it, right? Yeah. When you get so busy and you're so tired and you just keep grinding, we've gotten sick.
I have a flare-up of a lot of my stuff that's gone on.
Yeah. We get sick, and it just wears you down. It's almost like God built that into our bodies to be like, hey,
wake up. Are you seeing what you're doing to yourself?
You need to rest.
Yep.
I've seen it in that, it's like, wow, why did I get hurt like that? Why did God allow me to get hurt? Whatever. I think we've seen this, I don't know, recently. I can't remember. I'm not thinking of any particular person, but I think I've seen this before where it's like you've seen this person or family or whatever working so hard, and then all of a sudden somebody gets hurt, right? And it's like, oh man, it's just a hard time. We got hurt. Maybe that's God telling you need to slow down a second. You're not dead. You're just hurt. You will heal. God built that into you to heal, but he wants you to rest. Sometimes I think he does allow things like that to happen so that we can take this rest period to recuperate. And
how else do you pay attention to him? I mean, I hate to say it, but we've been down this with my health in the last several years. I mean, how else does he get your attention other than pulling you down so that the only way you can do is look up and say, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm not saying that please hear me out. I'm not saying that all illnesses are that way.
Are God sent.
Yes,
right, exactly.
Yes. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is it sure puts a perspective on you to look up in those instances.
Yep. Exactly. Listen to this. Verse 19. Also, every man to whom God has given riches and possessions, he has also given the power and ability to enjoy them and to receive his portion and to rejoice in his labor. Yep. This is the gift of God to him. This has been from the very get-go, right? I have always been, it's like, I've been guilty of, it's like, man, I'm not here to just grind it out, right? I'm not here to work and just pay bills. Hey, there's got to be more to life than that. There is, right? But God did give us work.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody the other day, it's like, about like retirement, right? And how retirement is a relatively new concept in the way of the world, right?
For sure.
Work was given by God from the very beginning in the Garden of Eden, right? Work was a gift from God for us to be able to enjoy the earth and the things that He's made and provided for us, right? And so we are called to work. We are commissioned to work as human beings.
You look at in all honesty, you look at the context of it, though. Yes, it is a relatively new thing for retirement, but also what's a relatively, I shouldn't say new, but newer thing is working 5 to 7 days a week nonstop with no breaks and randomly throughout the year, possibly taking a week off so that you could eventually make it to that retirement where you have time off, right? Mm-hmm. That was not ever the way it was.
Right.
Until we decided to mess with it, right? And change it for the benefit of a business or for the benefit of whatever.
Yep.
It was not designed that way. It was designed, you worked, that 7th day, you rested.
Yeah.
That was built in weekly, was that little vacation time.
Yeah.
That little vacation section was built in so that when you hit 65, you weren't wore out.
Yeah, exactly. I think of all those people that sit there and they work them 7 days a week. I can think of one person in particular that's all he does is work.
Yeah.
And he doesn't listen to this podcast, so it doesn't really matter. But it makes you feel bad because it's like, what life has he had other than because he's been relatively absent for most of his children's lives and everything, just because he thinks that he can't stop working for a second.
Yep.
Held 3 jobs, 4 jobs at a time. If he's not working, he'll work from in the morning, take a break, and then come back.
He'll come home and sleep for a couple hours, and then he'll go to his second job. Then he'll come home for a couple hours and get some more sleep, and then go to his third job. And and now at this point, his kids are grown, and he's got grandkids.
Yeah.
And and it's just like, man, you missed your first generations because of work. You're now missing the second generation. Mm-hmm. What do you have?
Yeah. So God's given you all this. He's given you the power and the ability to enjoy this stuff. And we're not speaking out against work, right? Work is a gift
work
from
is
God.
Something that you're supposed to do.
You're supposed to. You can't. That's another thing. Like you just sitting there doing absolutely nothing.
It's not glorifying God either.
Exactly.
No.
You risk not hearing those words.
You miss being deceived, or you take the chance of being deceived, I should say, by just sitting there, right? Mm-hmm.
There's a balance to it, right?
There is.
And I understand there's people that have come on hard times and they've faced disabilities where they can't work, and there's other things to do. Their work comes in many different forms, right? And it is not necessarily always physical labor.
No.
Work can be making a phone call.
Yep.
Work can be, you name it. I don't know. Can be anything, really.
Yep.
All to the glory of Him. Mm-hmm. All to the glory of God.
Work could be studying the Bible. If you can't physically go to work and you are on disability, work can be studying the Word and the truth, right? Yep. And pouring into somebody else over a cup of coffee.
Yep. Here's something that really sticks out to me. Verse 20, right? As we're talking about this laziness or this looking at the other side of things, right, is not doing anything because you shouldn't be working so much, right? Not doing anything is bad too, is where I kind of go in verse 20, because now that gives you so much time to think, right? You're sitting there, you found yourself in a position where you're not doing anything, you're not occupying your time, and all of a sudden now you start thinking about all these these troubled days of your life, because God keeps him occupied and focused on the joy of his heart. Downtime makes you
question.
Yeah, question. It gives the enemy just that little opportunity to come and sow a seed of doubt.
Yeah.
And so you have to be very careful. It's funny how when you read through God's word and you see this, and there's times that we have hit that.
For sure.
There's times that we have seen people hit that,
For
right?
sure.
It's saddening because it's like you need a hobby. You need something, right? Something you need to do something that gets your mind off of the troubled days of your life, right? And so that you can find joy, right? You like to paint, right? Diamond painting. You do like to paint.
I do. I would say I truly love being in the kitchen more than those, though.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
I love being in the kitchen. I am a very old soul as far as that's concerned. I love canning. I love coming up with fun flavors. I truly love making breads.
A little comedic relief here that gets me to thinking. You're kind of like that lady off of Blast from the Past. You remember that movie where she's like, she hears the bad news, and then she starts rubbing down the counter. And I get this vision in my head that like, the mom,
Yeah.
and I get this vision in my head that like you're sitting there when you having a hard time with the kids, like you're like, I gotta step away, and then all of a sudden 12 loaves of bread come out of the oven, right? That's your coping mechanism. It's like, I'm just gonna make bread. And to be honest with you, that's why I'm so fat.
Because that's my coping method. So
yeah, exactly. And if my shop was set up right, any of those hard times, any of those bored times that I get, or nice. Well, to be real honest with you, it used to be blacksmithing, right?
Yeah.
So when I would get bored, I would go out and I'd make a knife. That's why most of my knife collection, a lot of my knife collection is full of unfinished knives, is because it's like, oh gosh, dang, I just gotta go pound some metal, and now I don't ever finish them. So I have all these knives that are just unfinished in a box,
Just waiting for the kids to come and play with them.
Exactly. And so, but find yourself a hobby, right?
Yeah.
If you find yourself with idle, what is that? What is that old saying, right?
Idle hands are the devil's play toy.
Something like that. It's so it's like
devil's playground. Devil's playground, not play toy. Yep.
Yeah. So find something to occupy your time. You can't just sit and dwell on the hard times that you've had. And so, but yeah, and that's chapter 5. But yeah, that's pretty funny, coping mechanisms and all that. But all right, so that's chapter 5.
Verse 6 or chapter 6 is very small.
Maybe what we'll do when we come back next week, or hopefully we can, Lord willing, when we come back next week, we'll do 6 and 7.
Okay. So the irony there is 7 is kind of long, so.
Maybe everybody would no, you guys are getting short form on the news segment, so maybe we'll just do both and we'll just shoot for the moon there. Because I think we can hit 6 pretty quick. Yeah. But
we probably could hit 6 now, but I don't know if we really want to.
Now, what do we got here?
I mean, it's 12 verses, 13 verses. It's very short.
Yeah. And hey, you guys, if we decide to go on with this, you guys are getting a special look into, normally, especially with as long as it's taken us to get here, to get to this podcast, been 2 weeks, and we've read through chapter 5.
Good night. I can't tell you how many times we've read chapter 5. Oh, tonight we're going to get it done. Tonight we're going to get it done. And then something pops up. Tonight we're not getting it done.
Exactly. And so, so you guys getting this rare look at seeing it raw if we're going to do this here, because I haven't yet read through this, but it continues with that same.
It sure does, though. Might as well just keep on rocking with it.
May as well, right? Because so he goes into saying here that there's an evil which I have seen under the sun. This is continuing his thought.
Yep.
Like we've been talking about this whole thing, right? All of this is outside of Jesus, and it weighs heavily on man, a man whom God has given riches and wealth and honor. So you see that this that what he was talking about in chapter 5 is continuing into 6. That he lacks nothing of all that he desires, and God has given him the power, capacity to enjoy all of them. Okay, so he's pretty much reiterating himself there.
Yeah.
This is vanity. It's just a wisp of smoke, into the wind, right? Chasing after the wind. Great distress. Oh, listen to this. Man, we've covered a lot of 6 in 5.
We sure did. That's what I was saying. I was kind of reading through this going, man, we might as well just rock through this because it's A, not that long, and B, it really pairs well with 5 anyway.
Right? If a man fathers 100 children, this is verse 3, okay? If a man fathers 100 children, that's a lot of children, lives many years, however many they may be, but his soul is not satisfied with the good things, and he is not respected, he's not given a proper burial, then I say better the miscarriage than he.
Ooh, that's harsh.
For the miscarriage comes in futility and passes into obscurity, and its name is covered in obscurity. Oh my goodness. Boy, that is strong.
That's rough, isn't it?
It's pretty much saying, right, that you can have all this stuff. You can have all these these children, these heirs, right? Which was very important during this time.
But if you're not satisfied with your heirs, if you're not satisfied with your children and the good things that have been given to you, and you're not respected,
you're not living it's like continuing with chapter 5, right?
Yeah.
And you're not guarding your steps, guarding your actions, guarding your mouth, and so you're not respected, right, by anybody.
Yeah.
Then why even be born?
That's crazy.
That's pretty harsh.
It is.
You may as well have been miscarried if you're not going to live a life of godliness. Oh my goodness.
Miscarriage comes in futility, and it passes into obscurity, and its name is covered in obscurity. Wow.
Jeez. Oh, so 6:2, going back to that, prosperity without, this is the study Bible, this is a commentary. Prosperity without the divine gift of enjoyment amounts to nothing.
Yep.
Let me see. Did we read to the end? Okay. Verse 6, though, even if the other man lives 1,000 years twice over and yet has seen no good and experienced no enjoyment, do both go to one place, the grave? What does that say about it? That one place is the grave. If a long life terminates in death with no prospect of anything else, will that life have been worthwhile?
Yep.
Long life without knowing God and without the power to enjoy it is indeed frustrating and useless.
It's just running on a treadmill your whole life.
Right. Doesn't matter how far,
And we referenced that in 5, right? Running on that treadmill, doing the same old, same old.
Yeah. That's just, such a strong, really makes you examine your life a bit.
Yeah.
It's like, it goes back to that thing that I was talking with Marshall about, right? And Marshall was saying, like, if this unbeliever was to follow you around and look at your life, would he become a believer based on how you lived your life? Our life should reflect in a way that makes people say, I want that.
That's right.
Man, that dude is
There is
sick.
Something different to those people. What is it?
Yeah, that dude's on his deathbed and he's happy to be there.
Yep.
Or, he's joyful to be there. That dude has broke his leg and he's joyful that he has another leg to stand on, right? It's that type of outlook. 7. All the labor of a man is for his mouth, for self-preservation and enjoyment. That's the context in which the Amplified goes into there.
Yeah.
And yet the desire of his soul is not satisfied.
Right?
Wow. For what advantages has the wise man over the fool? What do you think it means there in verse 9? What the eyes see, which is enjoying what is available, is better than craving what the soul desires. This too is futility and chasing after the wind.
What the eyes see is better than craving. So to me, it's what's in front of you, right? What you actually have, what you've been given, is better than what your soul can imagine or dream up, right?
Right.
So you think about your family, right? You have your family. That's actually in front of you. But in your mind, in your family, you are not struggling. You are doing well. You have all of the toys for your children, right?
Yeah.
What you actually have in front of you is so much better because it's real and in front of you and been given to you versus that you can dream.
Right, be satisfied with what God has given you instead of just chasing after the wind, right? Chasing after more.
Yep.
be satisfied with what God's provided. And you see this a lot in especially during this time, right? Where these people, the men wanted an heir so bad that if they had nothing but girls, that they, their pursuit for an heir was so strong that everybody got pushed aside because they had that tunnel vision for a boy, and then they miss out on the true blessing of what the rest of your kids are, right? We see that even to today. And, chasing after the next best thing, and then your family takes a hit because of that. Yeah. Or you think that, well, I just got to do what I got, I just got to do what's good for me. I got to, this is kind of how you see it in today's world, right? Is like, well, that hurts me.
I'm going to make it hurt them.
Yeah. Or I got to, I gotta watch over myself. I gotta make sure I'm safe. I gotta make sure I'm taken care of first before anybody else. No, that's not the gospel.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right.
What you got?
Oh, I'm towards the end of it. So, 12 is where I was, but
that's what I was looking at.
Is that what you were looking at? Okay. So, for who knows what is good for a man during his lifetime? During the few days of his futile life, he spends them like a shadow. For who can tell a man what will happen after him under the sun? Right?
Right. This phrase is a confirmation of the meaning of the Hebrew word translated vanity. Life passes away quickly, like a vapor. Mm-hmm. What will happen after him? The implied answer is that only God knows what will happen to us after death. Rather than imply that nothing exists beyond the grave, this book teaches that each person's life will be reviewed by God after death. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we have such a short, fleeting, futile life that we really don't have the time to be caught up in meaningless nonsense.
More than that, you can dream what's going to happen to you when you pass away, but you don't know. You don't actually know. It's not in front of you, like verse 9 was saying. It's not in front of your eyes. You're not seeing it. You don't know. It's a dream at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
God's the one that knows.
Yep. And I'm telling you, this is where we should end it today.
I agree.
Or this week is the fact that stop pursuing this nonsense. Stop pursuing your own selfish desires. Stop pursuing this life of give and take, right? Where you think that the world owes you. It boils down to stop having that victim mentality, that spirit of victimism.
Yeah.
That somebody's always out to get you. Run this race, right?
That's right.
Pursue Jesus, and everything else will be added to you.
That's exactly right.
It may not look the way you think it should look, but
let's be honest, it's not going to look the way you think it should.
Exactly. But this is important because we do have a fleeting and futile life, and we aren't guaranteed tomorrow. So chase after Jesus, and that is the most important thing. Get into God's Word and base your life off of what He tells you.
That's right.
Weigh everything by God's Word.
His Word. Yep.
Yeah. And so that's it. We covered 2 chapters this week. Heck yeah.
So we made up for our 2-week break, guys. I'm sorry.
There we go. But yeah, the idea of this podcast is to always show Jesus and to encourage others to, pursue Jesus. And that's what we do here. That's the reason why we do all this, is to point you to it and to get out of this stale living and to live for Christ. Paul puts it really good. To live for, what is it? Oh my goodness! I even knew I was going to screw this up.
To die for Christ is gain.
Yeah, to live is Christ, and to die is gain. Right? Yeah. To live is Christ, and to die is gain. There we go. So go look that up. Look up any any of this. Read through these things. Next week will be, or next episode, we'll be covering Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Yeah. So,
and we're just about done. There's only 11 chapters in Ecclesiastes.
Woohoo! Then on to something. I think we've got something pretty fun that we're going to start doing. Remember, we're going to start doing hermeneutics, like word study.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Remember that? Yeah. So anyway, but that's a long ways off, so we'll talk more about that later. But guys, hey, thanks for listening to Undaunted Pursuit podcast this week. We're glad you joined us. Share this podcast with somebody this week, and check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe and like it, and so you can get notified. And give us a good rating and review on any of the platforms you listen to this podcast on. Check us out on social media, and that's Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever. We'd love to hear from you. We've got many different ways that we can hear from you. Social media for one, and our email, undauntedpursuit@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Any prayer requests, any requests of what we should cover next. And be watching out for supporting this new venture, this missions trip that we're going on. And we'd love to have you partner with us. And hopefully we will be able to share our experiences when that happens. Right here. It'd
be really cool to do a podcast down there. From there. Yeah.
And so, either way, you guys have a great week. Stay tuned, and I think that's about it. So, yep. We'll see you all next time on Undaunted Pursuit podcast. See you guys. Hey, thank you for joining us on the Undaunted Pursuit podcast this week, where faith meets real life. Stay bold, stay faithful, and keep chasing after Jesus. Don't forget, follow us on social media. Like, subscribe, rate, whatever you got to do. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube especially. Check that out. We love all the support that you give us, and we want you to continue supporting us. Share this episode with somebody this week. That you, the listener, are what makes this all possible. And, as we go through this, we need your support, both by sharing episodes and monetarily. Be looking in the show notes for any pertinent links to where you can support us financially, where you can support our guests, where you can support the music that's used at the end of this. We just encourage you to follow and like anybody that is on here, because we're all under the same mission, and that's to spread the gospel of Jesus. If you guys want to reach out, send us an email at undauntedpursuit@gmail.com. Until next time, keep pursuing.